The first two questions on your test is to list out your squares and cubes. Thank you. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm going to skip one, so you don't really need one. I mean, well, I guess I can put on there. 1 squared is 1. What is 2 squared? Let's see if you guys can list these out. 4, good. 3 squared. Oh, I have them on the board. I should. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. Yeah, it's silly for me to ask you. I have them on the board right behind me there. But do you remember how to get your calculator to tell you these if you don't know them? Yeah. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, just type them in. Okay. So list those all out all the way up to 100. And then the cubes. It's 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. The reason I made that the first two questions on the test is then you have those lists to look back at as you take the test. Okay. So the first one. We're just looking for the two that are in the simplest form. All you need to look at is the part that's underneath the square root. So you don't need this 4, you don't need this y squared, you don't need this 10x squared y. You can get rid of all that. You're only looking at the part underneath, and you want it in simplest form, meaning like you can't do anything else to it. So, and there's 2 of them. Does anyone think they see one of them? That's as simple as it gets. B is one of them. It's just x, y. You can't do anything to that.
6x.
And then 6x. 6 is too small of a number to do anything with. And then just the x. So in simplest form. All right, so look right below that. You're going to draw your 2 little houses. I'll share my screen. I feel like we did 192 earlier. You end up doing the same numbers a lot.
Isn't it 8? We did on our quiz.
All right, now it's not 8 because that's a cube. You want to look for a perfect square. Right there, 64, and then next to it, bless you, is 3.
Yeah.
And then the whole point of choosing 64 is you can square root that. Your square root of 64 is 8. So
Yeah,
8 square root of 3. Oh, you were jumping straight to the answer. You're right. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying 8 like was like that number, but you jumped straight to the answer. That's cool. All right, which 2 expressions are equivalent to, which means equal to, 6 square root of 2? Can you all extra listen to me on this? Because you're going to be able to do this for a lot of questions on the test, and it will like be super helpful, okay? I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to clear all this out, and I'm going to type 6 square root of, what was it, 2? Do you see how that came out to 8.4, blah, 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 blah? Okay, do you see that? I'm going to leave that there, come down to the next one. I'm going to type choice A. It's 14 square root of 2 minus square root of 120. Do you see how I just typed that? Do those match?
Say 2.
Oh, yeah.
A is one of your answers, circle A. Do you see that there? We just like checked to see. Now it says which 2 expressions. So now I'm going to do the next one. What's the next one? 3 square root 2 plus square root 2. Do those match? 8.4, 5.6. No, so we don't want B. All right, let's try C. Square root of 8 and then times, oh, it says square root of 9, but what is the square root of 9? 3. I'm just going to type 3. Do those match? Yes. So we want that one. And then I don't even need to test D because we found, do you guys see how I did that? I typed the problem and I typed the choices. You can do that for like half the test. But listen to me. The calculator will do numbers. It won't do variables. It doesn't know what X and Y and A and B and all that stuff are. So you're going to have to still work them out. Like, see how this one has B in it? You would have to actually still do this problem. Now for the square root of 30, you can't split that. It's just going to stay square root of 30. There is no number off that squares list that will go into 30. Okay, just won't work. Is 8 an even number? Yes, so just leave that alone. So actually, we didn't really do anything there, but this one's going to simplify. What's 8 divided by 2? 4. So it'll be b to the 4th and then square root of 30. There's kind of not a lot to that. All we were able to simplify was the b to the 8th. All right. Now this is the more advanced one. We're going to split this apart. Draw your 2 little houses. I need numbers that multiply to be 24, but one of them's got to be off that squares list. I think you could probably do that without a calculator. Good. 4 times what? Good. 4 times 6 gives you 24. Cool. Is 10 an even number? Yes. Leave it a to the 10th. Just don't do anything. Is 7 an even number? No. How's that one split? Good. And don't just write 6 and 1. It's b to the 6. The reason I keep bringing that up is because people will leave the b out of it, and then that's not right anymore. All right. So then we're going to check them off. What's your square root of 4? 2. Good. What's the next one that's going to actually work? Good. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So a to the 5th. And then what's the last one that we can check off? Good. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Hey guys, what's still there that we did not check off? Yep, 6b. Just pick up where we are. I'm doing a recording of this. You can always get the rest of it later. All right, this one. Draw your 2 little houses. Under one of them, you've got that 7x. We're just doing this backwards. So instead of square rooting, you're going to square everything. All right. So what is 3 squared? 3 squared. Good. 9. Now this you're going to square as well. 3 times 2 is 6. You're doing it in reverse. Instead of dividing by 2, you're timesing by 2. And then y will just be squared. You're just squaring everything. You're just doing it in reverse. All right. And then you just times these together. So 9 times 7 is 63. How many x's will you have? X to the what? 7. Good. 6 plus 1 and then y squared. That's like the one on your quiz. It's like which one of these simplifies to that. The other thing, if you don't like what I did there, if you were like, hey, that confused me, just work out all the choices until you get the one that works. Like that's valid as well. Fidgets are fine, but they're intended to help you pay extra attention. So as long as you're still paying attention and the fidget isn't distracting you, then that's fine. All right, now we're on to the cube roots. Build 2 little houses, but put little 3s with them. And I'll type it in the calculator for us. Just make sure you're looking at the correct list. This time we're looking at the cubes list. All right, and actually, I don't need to go any further. Do you see one? 64 times 2. Now, you might not know the cube roots. I'm going to throw the question out, see if anybody knows it, but cube root of 64 is smaller than that. It's 4. So 4 cube root of 2. Just type CBRT in your calculator. Just do cube root 64. It'll tell you. Okay. This one's negative. That just means you're going to have a negative in your answer. It just means the answer will be negative is all that that means. All right. So I'll type it in the calculator, 250 over x. And we're looking at the cubes list. So actually, I don't need to go any further with that one either. Do you see it? Yeah. 125 and 2. Perfect. It's going to be a negative 125 and then 2. Or just understand that your answer is going to have a negative in it. That's all. Cube root of negative 125 is negative 5. Good. And then cube root of 2. But again, you could type it in the calculator, CBRT negative 125. It will tell you the answer, I promise. And then this is the same thing backwards. Draw your 2 little houses. This one's just a 4. Instead of cube rooting, you are cubing. You're going backwards, all right? So 3 cubed. Again, I'm just throwing it out there. Like after we've done enough of these, 3 times 3 times 3. It's the number up there. 27, good. And then you would just have to do 27 times 4, which I actually don't know that one off the top of my head, so I'm going to type it in. Oops. So 108. So cube root 108. But again, if you don't like what I just did there, if you're like, hey, Ms. Cole, that didn't work for me, that confused me, I don't like it. It's going to be choices A, B, C, and D. Just do choice A, choice B, choice C, choice D until you get that as your answer. Like you can work them all out backwards, right? And then this last section is the stuff we just looked at today, and this went super well, so like, it went so well, I'm almost nervous about it, but we'll see how this goes. 3 is not a big enough number to do anything with, so just leave that one alone. Like, there's nothing you can do to that, so just write it down. Right, plus 4 is just there. And then draw your 2 little houses to split up the 12. So I need numbers that multiply to be 12. One of them's gotta be off the squares list up here. Good, 4 times 3. And my suggestion is just to erase or scratch it out so you don't have to write the whole thing over again. What is your square root of 4? That's like the whole point. 2, good. The point of choosing something on the list is that it's gonna work, right? So then this will be 7 square root of 3 plus what? Good. How did you get 8? Because that's correct. 4 times 2 is 8. That's all you're doing then. And now they're the same. You can add them together. 7 square root of 3 plus 8 square root of 3. 15 square root of 3. I'll leave this one because we just did a ton of these already today. I'll fill that in and put it on the Schoology. All right. So let's do the cube root one. 3 is just there. Start all the way over to the edge because it's going to get long. All right. Draw your 2 little houses and they need little 3s outside of them. And we're going to try and split up 54. You guys are doing awesome with paying attention. It has to be off the cubes list. Oh, whoops. How did I get a capital X? All right. So, and actually, I don't need to go any further. Do you see it? There's 27 and 2. Perfect. You guys are all paying attention to me. I love it. You're all going to ace this. All right. 27 and 2. Minus 7 is just there. I'm sorry. I don't have a better explanation than that. Draw 2 little houses with the 3 out front. I'm going to try to not type this one in because 16 is a small enough number. I think you guys could probably do it. I need numbers that multiply to be 16. One of them's got good. 8 times 2. Perfect. And again, my suggestion is erase. So you don't have to write the whole thing all over again. What is your cube root of 27? Smaller than that. It's 3. But if you don't know that, look, here, I'll show you. If I come over here to the calculator, I just don't like going back and forth with the screens. If you type in cube root 27, see how it'll tell you 3? You can rely heavily on your calculator for this test. It'll tell you pretty much everything. All right, and then cube root of 8, I'm just going to erase that. What is your cube root of 8? Is 2. So then what's your next step? Again, you just can't be scared of having to do a little bit of work here. 9, good, cube root of 2. Minus, oh wait, where did I lose you? It is a lot of numbers. It looks like alphabet soup up here, except numbers instead of letters. All right, 7 times 2 is 14 cube root of 2. And do you see how they are the same now? All right, so 9 minus 14, what is that, negative 5? Negative 5 cube root of 2. So you simplify them so that they are the same, they're like terms, and then you can put them together. All right, this is almost done. You guys are focusing great. Keep going. We only have like 3 more problems here. All right, do you see how that 7 is just kind of there sitting outside? So you're just going to keep that. It's kind of just there. And then cube root, and we're going to multiply 18 times 6. I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm typing it in. 18 times 6 is 108. So you're going to draw 2 little houses. And we're going to have to split up the 108. I think it's 27, but let me make the little table to be sure. Did we do that one already? After you do enough of them, like it ends up being the same numbers over and over again. There, do you see it 27? And what's next to it is 4. All right, so 27 and 4. And again, the whole point of choosing a number off the list is it's going to work. What is your cube root of 27? It's 3. Good. Cube root, I guess I could have erased that and just wrote 3. But anyway, your final answer then, good, is 21 cube root of 4. All right. Here we have a triangle. It says perimeter. Does anyone know what the word perimeter means? Getting you ready for geometry. The whole way around. So you're just gonna add these three things together. Two of them will combine, one of them will not. Which two do you see that are the same? Yeah, do you see how these are both 5? All right, so add those together. What do you get? 9 square root of 5, and then plus 4 square root of 2. There's just nothing you can do with that one. So 2 of them go together and one of them doesn't, and it's like, whatever. So I'm going to show you more in the calculator with this. Can you please just watch? It says which 2 of these are like your choices. It's like a drag and drop thing. Have a product of this. What does product mean? Multiplication. All right, watch. I just need you to watch, but please watch because you will be able to just type this in your calculator to get the answer. You ready? All right, I'm going to type that. What is it? 27. Please stop that. Square root of 2. Do you see that? 27 square root of 2. You're all looking. That's fantastic. Do you see how it's 38.18, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now let's pick 2 of the choices down there to multiply together. Which 2 do you want to try?
9, 2.
All right, we're going to do 9 square root of 2. Let's see if you guess right on the first try. That's going to be so funny. And then what other one? Okay, so the first 2. Did that come out the same? Bummer. All right, pick which 2 do you want to try now? You have to multiply 2 of them together to get it.
4 and 18.
You're going to change this one to the 4 and the 18? Nope.
26.
3 and 6. That match up? Well, I think, wasn't there 3 and 3? Oh, no, that's not right either.
Did 9 and 2, yeah.
Nah.
9 and 2 and 3 and 6.
Is it that one?
3 and 6 and 3 and 3.
Did we try that yet? Ah, there we go. Do you see how it's those 2? Do you see how I just noodled around with it until I made it work? All right, so circle those 2. 3 square root of 6, 3 square root of 3. And then put them on the line. We're trying to simulate a drag and drop question. Like they do that on the SOL. Like you have to take these and drag them into place.